All right, Alexis. Are you ready for your big podcast debut?
I think so.
It's not just your podcast debut. It's the debut of Florida State Beach Volleyball Studios. So when I was talking with Brooke and Nick about working here, Brooke was like, "We'll make you a studio. We can keep the podcast going." She's like, "I want you to keep doing the podcast." I was like, "All right, the studio will probably never actually materialize." Here we are. We got some new lights.
Yeah.
We got this thing. We got a little spear.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's pretty awesome. I think the spear really makes it.
I did too. And then I put a little Easter egg of a little snowman in the top right hand corner.
I was thinking about grabbing the one over there.
Yeah, you could.
Corner.
A lot of people, what we used to do actually at our first studio was at Try's house, and we had a little mini ball that people would just fidget with. So if you need to fidget, play with the mini ball, more than welcome to.
Okay.
But Alexis Durish, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
So this is, as we were just talking about, it's your podcast debut. Does FSU, like a lot of schools will do their own kind of podcast, or like the journalism department will kind of do little things. Anything like that?
I don't think there's any podcast like directly affiliated with FSU. I feel like it's more just like fan base.
Okay.
Or like fans that make the podcast.
Got it. So we're breaking ground.
I think so, yeah.
That
I know of, yeah.
Oh, another debut. Trying out new mics.
Yeah.
And yeah, so this is just, you're an innovator. I appreciate you innovating with me. But how, I'm curious, because this is my first fall with the college program. And I'm curious how this fall was compared to because this is your third year athletically, fourth year academically, because you're smart. How did this fall go compared to other ones?
This fall, the past two falls, we've been trying to do like a lot more like new stuff this year with like our tempos and stuff like that. Like my freshman year, it was a lot more like traditional, just like traditional practices. This year, it's a lot more innovation, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
And then like tournament wise, like we only had 2 real
Yeah, Tavares and Huntsville, right?
Yeah. So that was, I feel like a lot less tournaments this year.
Is it normally more?
I feel like last year we did.
Because we had the alumni one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not but real tournaments, not really a real
I think
tournament.
last year we had 3, not including Huntsville.
Okay.
And then we also had like a Garnet and Gold. It's like an inter squad scrimmage thing. So that's different too, because we didn't do that this year, I don't think.
So this year we did a lot more new stuff than usual?
Yeah.
Okay. And you said a couple years past were more traditional practices. Like, what would you describe as a traditional practice?
Just like...
Because I don't even know. Like, I'm brand new to college, and so this innovative stuff, that's traditional to me now. That's what I came in with.
That's true. I feel like more just like up and down, just like what you're taught like in juniors, just continuing with that, just like advancing it a little further, like
you're leveling up on what you've already done.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But this is more like just a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going from juniors to college, or well, not juniors to college, but going from like traditional practices, you got your information systems management 101, and then you're going to 202, whereas the way we did it this year was like you got your information systems, but now you also got creative writing over here, and it's a whole new class.
Basically.
Got it. How'd you like it?
I think it's really fun.
Yeah.
It's totally different, and like I really enjoyed it because like you get better by like sucking, but I feel like it wasn't even that. It was just like getting better by just trying new things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like the fall is such a consequence-free environment to try new things, because you have a couple tournaments, but for Florida State anyway, Tavares didn't matter because we already had 2 teams going to Huntsville. So Tavares, for the listeners' viewers' sake, was a qualifier for Huntsville, which was the ABCA Pairs National Championships. But we didn't have anything on the line because we already had 2 teams automatically in via ranking, which I didn't know that was how it worked. New to me.
Yeah, me neither, really.
And so it's like a total consequence-free environment to just try stuff. I feel like, and with anything, like you said, you kind of suck at first. I don't think anybody sucked, but there's sort of there's always going to be a little pushback because you try to do a back shoot and you miss someone by 15 feet and you just start giving up points in practice. I'm curious how you handled that, or like what your mindset is, because you've been at the top for a while. Like, you were a great juniors player. You're one of the best players on our team, and by extension, one of the best players in the NCAA to me. And so sort of getting worse before you get better is always a hard thing for any athlete at any level.
I think the miscommunication is still happening. Like,
Yeah.
somebody will call something and then we like run totally different things. Like, it's still challenging.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot more growth to be done. But what was I even going?
Getting worse before you get better with the new stuff.
Like, I think just like communicating with everyone is like just super important with that stuff, because like everyone's in the same boat. Like, we all are just like kind of in the dip,
Yeah.
and then we'll all be rising together, hopefully.
I like the way you described that, the dip. We're all in the dip together.
Yeah. It's not really a decline, like, because you could always go back to like the traditional
Right.
style, but like doing like the quicker tempo just like elevates that ability.
Yeah. It was funny when we were doing all the sort of individual exit interviews, I guess, as everyone's kind of going on break. We asked everyone what they loved about the fall. Mm-hmm. And across the board, everyone said, I love this new offense.
Yeah.
Because it's really fun. But that wasn't always the tone.
Yeah, I think the first week I absolutely hated it. The first week I was like, this is so stupid. This is never going to work. Like, sure, it works in like men's volleyball, but this is like women's. Like,
Right.
it's not as fast, not as athletic. Or like, it is athletic, but like it isn't as...
Yeah, it's less explosive.
Yes, that.
Because I think, because Nick has been talking about jump setting on the women's side.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that'll catch
Yeah.
on the women's end, because there's a certain tipping point of a vertical leap that I think you need. Mm-hmm. You need to be able to hang and make a decision. And I don't know, like Brandy Wilkerson could do it. Mm-hmm. There's a handful. Valentina Guittardi's doing it. But you have to be kind of on that freakish athletic ability to do it.
Yeah.
Because I think on the men's side, the hang time is more normal. I don't see it catching on women's side.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't really either, because I think people, like Kelly tries it and it kind of works, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's the most effective thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Kelly at least has the ability where, say, like Sarah Hughes, if she sort of shovels a dig and it's going to go over, or she can jump and kind of side set it and just sort of clip it off before it's going over.
Yeah.
But as far as fooling people with it, I don't think it's there.
Yeah.
Because you need, like, the part of the jump set that fools people is when you are able to hang, and then you can make a decision of, is the blocker with me? Okay, I'm jump setting. Okay, as the blocker left, I'm optioning. And I don't think Kelly or almost anyone not named Brandy and Valentina has that ability.
Yeah. There's like Piper Furch, who's at Cal Poly. She has a high vertical. She is pretty good at jump setting.
I was really impressed with her.
She's pretty deceptive with
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So actually, her and Molly Shaw practiced with Betsy Flint and Julia Scholes when I was working with them. Mm-hmm. And it was funny because, like, Piper, when she goes into that level, was the worst player on the court.
Yeah.
And I didn't dumb down practice or anything, but it was like having been working with Betsy and Julia against like April and Alex and Kelly and Sarah and Kristen Tarrant, all them, and then you see Piper and it wasn't like she was trying to like work her way up, and then I see her at this level, I was like, holy cow, she's really good. And I think that she's going to be a name that people probably hear for a while.
Yeah, she's freakishly athletic.
Yeah, and she's got sweet hands, a great jump serve, and does this pulling thing I've never seen anyone do. Me and Nick were commentating, and she would pull angle and then V-cut back into the line. I'd never seen someone do that before.
Yeah.
Did you play against her growing up?
Not a ton. I only played her like a handful of times just because like she's from Washington.
Yeah.
From Florida, so.
Yeah, which I think that alone speaks to how big the impact of the NCAA. Mm-hmm. Where before, if you had a player from Washington, I mean, as early as like 2015, they'd be an outlier.
Yeah.
But now it's pretty normal. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at our roster, we got a couple Floridas, a couple Californias. We have multiple from
Ohio.
Arkansas, multiple from Ohio, a U19 world champ from Pickerington, Ohio.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's been fun for me to watch the impact of the NCAA.
Mm-hmm.
But you growing up in Sarasota, which is a pretty beach friendly, it's either Southern California or Florida, like the traditional ones. How have you seen the grassroots level blow up? Because I feel like you were sort of in the middle of when the wave got huge.
Well, I started playing beach when I lived in Texas.
Okay.
So because I started with 210 out of San Antonio.
Jason Kaiser?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Yeah, that was like, when I started, it was kind of like bigger for like club wise, but then it just like kept growing. Now it's like a freaking huge club, like massive, so many girls, which is super exciting. And then my sophomore year of high school, I moved to Florida, and in like the Tampa, Sarasota area, there's like a couple of clubs. I would say they're smaller compared to like 210.
Yeah.
But then I just like played with like, I did more like private lessons with Josh Davis.
Okay.
Aurora, which is
great family.
Great family. Love them. But that was like different because it was like a lot smaller of an environment, like a lot less people to compete against, and then like I'd go to like these tournaments in Florida and I'd like just meet a lot more people, because like I feel like in Florida everyone's from like everywhere.
Right.
Like in Texas it was like
Texans.
You're either from Dallas,
yeah.
Austin, or San Antonio. You're just like no, but like in Florida there's like the people in Tallahassee, like Jordan, and then there's like the people in like Miami area.
Right.
It's like it's a lot different.
Yeah. Which would you prefer? Because 210 was huge, and so you have a lot of competition, but not a lot of maybe individual attention. And then in Florida, you got maybe in Sarasota anyway, smaller clubs, maybe not as intensive competition, but you have attention from Aurora and Josh or whoever your coaches may be.
Mm-hmm. I think both places had great competition and great coaches, because like even at 210 we had like 10 quality coaches. Like there was...
Who all was there?
Peter Knoll.
I love Petey.
Yeah. He was my favorite.
Yeah.
And then there's like Steven.
Roshitz?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both in Kansas now.
Yeah, they both moved, so that was sad. That was after my time, so that was glad I had them.
At least they left you after you were gone.
Yeah, and then there's Lance Pullman, and then there was like Brandon. He was newer. I'm definitely forgetting people.
But you had a lot. You had a lot of pretty quality coaches.
Yeah. And then out here in Florida, like the practices just like, I don't know, just smaller, but like still.
I'm curious what the difference was. There a difference in style between Texas and Florida, coaching wise?
I feel like when I was in Florida, I mainly only trained with Josh, and his like style is like, for like a month we would just work on one thing, which I thought was like super helpful. But then like in Texas, it was just like every practice was like you do a couple drills and then like or like for the first hour would be like drills, and then like the last hour we would just like play.
Yeah.
Which like is totally different, I feel like.
Yeah. If you had to pick one.
I kind of like just like focusing on one thing, because then like after a month you can really just like elevate that skill.
Yeah.
If you're doing it just consistently.
And you were good with the monotonous nature of that?
Yeah, because it'd be like, so our practices, Josh would only be here for Monday and Tuesday. Okay. So we only practiced twice a week. So it was like just those 2 days you really just had to like get it down.
You just hammered it.
You just hammered it. And then like you had like the whole rest of the week to just like just like think about it and like
Yeah.
watch video or whatever.
And then you can compete on your own and
Yeah.
whatever. I go back and forth because every athlete's so different.
Yeah.
And like Betsy and Julia were on the two polar axes of what they wanted in terms of practice. Because Julia repped.
Yeah.
She could rep, just do passing for a month straight, and she'd be fired up and she'd never get bored with it. Whereas Betsy wanted to compete with all kinds of different constraints and messing around with the court and the net and different incentives to do this. And that's the way she liked to get better because it was a more live environment. So planning those practices was a challenge. And then at Florida State, we got 20 plus girls. And you'll have your reppers like you got your gamers like Mac Wolf. And then you have such a wide variety of skill levels and where they're at because we're young. And then so we got 6 freshmen who are pretty elite and very talented, but still raw in a lot of ways. And then you got more polished players like you, and it's fun. It's a fun creative challenge. Like I said, when me and Nick are driving back and forth from work every day, we just try to figure out like the best way to get everyone better while also giving them what they need. It's a little puzzle where all the pieces are moving.
Yeah, I definitely love competing. It's always super fun.
Yeah.
But like, also just like the fundamentals. I know they're important, but man, is it hard sometimes. Just like those practices can be quite boring.
Yeah.
So finding like a good balance between like that is, I think, good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I think athletes who get fired up about the monotonous stuff and they don't get bored with it because they know like they're working on something so small and so specific and they get fired up. Because when you do like passing or whatever, it's just like passing your line, but you can like slip on a rep and like get jammed inside and then you can get mad because that wasn't the rep you wanted. So I think part of being an elite athlete is when you can get through the monotony.
Yeah.
That's why I had to stop playing golf. Because I got to a level where I was like shooting even, but the difference between shooting even and 2 to 3 under on a regular basis is putting for 2 hours a day. And I couldn't do it.
I played like a little bit of golf over the summer, and every single time I'd like think I'd be good, and then it was just really bad. Like, it was painful.
Well, golf's a sport where it teases you.
Yeah.
Where you hit one drive and it's
you're
perfect.
Like, oh, I'm good now.
This is the greatest sport. I'm going to remember that swing. And then you get up the next hole and it feels like the exact same swing and it is phew, into the trees. And then you hate it and you want to break a club. It just teases you. 18 holes of just like carrot dangle.
Yep. Hate it. Hate it.
What did you play growing up?
I did like soccer, gymnastics, swimming, and then indoor. And then like a little bit of basketball and like track.
Swimming?
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that.
I was kind of good at swimming.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I could see it. You're long.
Yeah.
What did you swim?
Basically everything but breaststroke.
Okay.
I was terrible at that one, but
it's hard. I was an IMer. And I had to build a substantial time lead, and then I get to breaststroke, and it was just like, boom. It was like swimming through Jello.
It's like, how do you go fast with that? Like,
no, that's why I watch like the Olympics. I love watching breaststroke because I'm like, how are they doing it?
I don't understand that one. The other ones, I get like you want to go fast, but like breaststroke, like you go slow to go fast. I don't get it.
Yeah, you just disturb the water as little as possible.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, no turbulence. And meanwhile, everyone's just like, zoom, right past me. I'm like, damn I'll always be winning, and then once it got to breaststroke, start losing. Like, and then try to like win again from like backstroke, and then that never really happened. But backstroke was tough. I had a lot of trouble staying in the middle. In line.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd like go and I'd just hit the lane line. Damn it! How'd we end up here again?
Yeah, you gotta like secretly like pull it a little bit, get that a little extra boost.
Yeah, just a little tug.
Yeah.
When did you dial in just volleyball?
I started indoor at like 3rd grade because my older sister started playing, and then like 4th grade I like 3rd grade I played like YMCA, and then like 4th grade I started like a small club. Okay. And then 5th grade I like moved to like a bigger club.
Got it.
Yeah.
Is there when I watch I listen to a lot of John Mayer's podcasts, and so he has a daughter. I think she's around 10, and I don't know what grade that is, but youth volleyball is awful to watch because any kid who's strong enough to hit the serve over, it's an ace.
Yeah.
And it's either a miss or an ace. I'm wondering, like, how did you do youth volleyball? Because I think that the way, like, youth basketball, lower the rim, shorten the court, it's easy. It's a really easy way to go about it. But volleyball, when I watch 6-on-6, like 10-year-old volleyball, I'm like, this isn't volleyball.
Yeah.
It's like, can you hit it over the net or not?
Yeah. My dad was like my first, him and one of the other like teammates, he was like my first coach. He didn't know anything about volleyball. He's still learning.
Bless his heart.
Yeah. But he like wouldn't let me serve underhand. He like only let me serve overhand.
Okay.
So like I just had to learn how. And that like I just get like 10 aces just by getting the ball over the net.
Right.
Yeah. It was quite painful, but you know, got me better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my dad's thing. We had a basketball hoop in our driveway, and he wouldn't let it, like, he wouldn't raise the hoop to 10 feet until we were shooting right. Because if you get a 5th grader shooting on a 10-foot rim, like, he's from the hip, hoisting up and chucking it. But he would have us on a 7-foot rim. He's like, you're going to shoot the right way so that you don't have to reinvent your shot 6 different times. And I was not grateful for it in the moment, but I am now. And I look at Hawaii and the Outrigger Canoe Club, and they have their baby court where the net's really low and the court's small. I think it's the best thing you can do for little kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I think just like time, because like serving a volleyball, like it takes like a little bit of power, and like just being that like young, like you don't really have that yet.
Right.
And, like, especially me, I was a little twig.
I mean, you're still pretty teeny.
But like then especially.
Yeah.
I was a twig. So like that just took a while.
Right.
And just being super close to the net as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you start playing beach then?
I think 7th grade.
Okay. That was in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Would that have been at 210?
Yes.
Okay.
First practice was with them.
It's crazy how much earlier kids are starting beach now.
Yeah.
So Delaney, she didn't start playing beach until like her junior year of high school. And she lived in Southern California.
Yeah.
Like, she grew up going to Ventura Beach. And now, and she went into, and she got a full ride from Pepperdine.
That's
just
crazy.
based off of like indoor film and a CBVA that she played with her mom.
Yeah.
And now, man, it's nuts how good like a junior in high school is.
Yeah. It's like kind of crazy because like talking with Bailey, because she was kind of that way. Like she started beach later and like later compared to like everyone else. And she's like, she doesn't know a ton of people in the beach world. And that's just like crazy to me because like I just know people from like growing up with them, like seeing them in all these different tournaments. Like, I don't know, it's like a totally different outlook because like there's so much like she's so good, but there's like still so much that she doesn't know, and that's just like crazy to me.
Well, I think what's crazy to me is because I like the way I operate is I find something and I get obsessed with it, and I just go as many layers deep as there are to go, and I figured that's how everyone operates. And I was talking to Paige, and I said something about Anders Mole. She's like, "Who's that?" Yeah. I was like, "Paige."
Bailey didn't know who that was either, and I was like, "Bailey, don't say that." Like,
I've never been mad at Paige in my life, but that's as close as I've come to being angry with her. It's like, you can't be an elite. I don't think you can be at the top of whatever your profession is if you don't know who's at the top of that profession. I couldn't believe it. And Paige is amazing. Yeah. She's a great volleyball player.
Like, he just won the World Tour Finals and then, like, bronze at the Olympics and then, like, gold the year before. Like, that's insane. How do you not, like...
Right.
know...
Yeah.
Like, the greatest blocker of, like, our generation. I don't know.
This is making me happy that you also got upset.
Yeah. That one's a little... Like, some people, like... Or, like, some... Like, the top athletes I don't know. Like, haven't watched that much of, but, like, him, like, I don't know. He's, like...
And he's every...
amazing.
Like, he's every... Because when we go out for VBTV and doing commentary and we work really closely with our social content team, we are directed to put up a lot of Anders Mole content. It's easy to figure out who Anders is. Mm-hmm. You don't have to dig far.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite player to watch? My favorite player for you to watch is Nina Brunner.
I have watched a lot of Anders Mole.
Well, he's an alien. He
Yeah.
came in on a spaceship.
Yeah. Like, I started watching him, like, 2019 or something. Like,
that was when they won
my
8 out of
first-
13.
Yeah. That was... And... Still enjoy watching him. Like, this past Olympics, I really enjoyed watching Nina. She was a fun one to
She was
watch.
on a different level. I think
Yeah.
she would be my MVP for the Olympics, even though they won bronze.
Yeah.
She was crazy.
She did really well.
And when you watch, do you watch more for entertainment, or do you watch for players' approach, the way they do defense, whatever it may be?
When I watch other people play, I more just watch for entertainment, but like when I watch myself, it's more like...
Then you're breaking down.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. I think watching other people, I still do get like a little bit of like what they do, but it's not as much as it could be. Yeah.
I was a little different because I started when I was 24, and I didn't know how to get better, so I just went on YouTube, and so I just found a player's approach that I really liked. That's all I'd watch. It's just that person's approach or this person's block, and I would just do it over and over and over again. I would just watch everything there was to watch, and I would just replay the same play 100 times.
Yeah. I don't think I've like intentionally done that, but I have like noticed like certain things. Like Nick, he always like approaches from like the end line. Like that's just unique. Like
Backs all the way up. Yeah.
Starts from the end line, like, and then approaches from the end line. Like yeah, it's
tough to teach the 42-step Nick Lucena approach.
I've tried doing like somewhat of that. Hasn't stuck with me yet though.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the cool thing about watching a lot of different players.
Yeah.
Is you'll see that like there's so many different ways to peel an orange. Like you got Nick's approach, which is from the end line. You got George's approach, which is really deep, but he doesn't have the happy feet that Nick and I think Nick and Bruno approached really similar, where they have like really happy, choppy feet, whereas George just sits there and waits. And then you got Amon, who just trots in and never waits.
Yeah.
Like there's just so many different ways to do it.
I think also with like the faster tempo, it's just harder to do like a Nick approach.
Yeah.
So that just changes everything too.
Yeah, because then that sort of Amon trot, big explosive step makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if have you watched York de Groot?
A little bit, not a ton.
He's an enjoyable watch. Recommend it. He just got 4th at the World Tour Finals. Really, they should have beat Sweden. They should have been up 2018 in the second. Had like 3 swings for it, and Amon went full Amon. And then they were up 11-9 the third, and they kind of choked that one away too. Dang. But they were right there. So I recommend. I think you'd enjoy. But I think for you, I think Nina Brunner's such a good comparable for you. You're about the same height, same build, move kind of similar. I think similar physical capabilities too. You can be our little Nina Brunner.
Yeah.
Do you have, I'm curious, well, it's kind of a two-parter. Like, do you want to go pro in beach volleyball? And 2, I'm curious, with how just the explosion of people who are playing beach volleyball, is that a thing that a lot of people want to do? We'll start with you first.
For me, I don't really know. I think...
Coach Brooke saying hey.
Oh.
She's stoked on the debut of FSU Studios.
Oh, good. She'll be here soon, hopefully. She'll be on hopefully soon.
Brooke, yeah, because we had her and Nick on when they came by California in the summer.
Yeah.
But I think we gotta have her on in the home studio.
Yeah. Okay. I don't really know what I want to do. It still like feels so far away.
Yeah.
That like right now I'm like trying to focus on like having a career outside of volleyball.
Information systems management.
Yep, basically. I'm trying to like work on that just in case like volleyball doesn't pan out. Like I have
That's
that plan.
Smart. I recommend.
Yeah. So as of right now, volleyball is like my backup.
Okay.
And I think that's also kind of because like my thought process is like there's like April Ross just now finally retired, and she's
40.
40,
Yeah.
20 years older than me. Like, I would be competing against girls 20 years older than me.
Right.
Like, that's kind of insane. That's a ton of people.
Yeah.
A ton of incredible talent. Like, that's... And, like, the U.S. has just such a strong women's, like, presence. Like,
It's incredible.
It's really, really hard.
Yeah.
To, like, battle with.
I think you're capable. One, I think you're smart. I wouldn't call it a backup. I would say adjacent. Mm-hmm. Because you can do, like, both things can be true.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
And so I think that, I mean, the way the financial status of the game is, you need a job until you get good to the point that you don't.
Yeah.
I think you are more than capable of doing it. I mean, you've proven it. Like, you and Zolani Hodel at Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
Or she's not at Stanford
She
anymore.
graduated.
Thank God.
Yeah.
You guys won NORCECA. Granted, it was light, but the qualifier to get there wasn't. I mean, you beat Gina and Tony.
Mm-hmm. Tony was playing with Carly Kahn.
Okay. So you got Tony, who just won the AVP League, and Carly Kahn, who's won an AVP, and you beat him with another young player. I think that you're more than capable of doing it, but I think it's smart to go adjacent.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it 10 million times in California, where you get players who are like, I'm moving all eggs, one basket, California, and then they understand that you lose thousands of dollars your first couple of years playing pro.
Yeah, I don't think I could live in California, though. That's not my speed.
So I love that.
Yeah.
And I think that sort of the illusion that you have to go to California, I don't think is true anymore.
Yeah.
I think when I first moved there, it was. But I think the NCAA has established these pockets of extreme talent everywhere. And I think that if you have a good coach or two around you and 2, maybe 3 high-level teams around you, I think you can get just as good as anyone in California in a way healthier way.
Yeah.
Because I was talking with Savvy Simo and Evan Corey about this. And Savvy, like, she has panic attacks all the time. Mm-hmm. And you go up and down the Strand, and you see people practicing every day, and you start getting anxious about it. You're like, shoot, I got to start practicing. And they were doing it 7 days a week, and then you stop enjoying it, and you burn out quick, and you have panic attacks, and you quit. And that happens all the time. So I was talking with Nick about it. I was like, I wish I had known that I could have come to Tallahassee and played professionally here before. But now that I'm here, and I'm just kind of seeing it, like, it's a way more sustainable approach.
Yeah. There's, like, a lot of talent in Tampa, St. Pete area, which is awesome. Like, there's
good coaching down there too.
Yeah. Like, a lot of, like, the recent FSU grads just moved down there to start playing professionally, which is
Who's down
amazing.
there?
Maddie and Brooke are down there.
Maddie Anderson, Brooke Bauer.
Lena and Morgan.
The Chuck. That's all you need.
Chuckums, like,
that's all you need.
There's Kim down there.
Yeah.
Kim Hildreth.
Hurricane Hildreth is what we started calling her on VBTV.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's all you need. So I think California is a great experience. I think if you want to do like a summer out there, whatever, recommend it. But I don't think, if you don't want to live in California, I don't think it's mandatory anymore.
Yeah.
Because before I did.
Yeah.
So good for you.
I don't think I could do it. It's just not.
Yeah. I couldn't go back. It was the 9 years I was there were perfect. It was the right chapter of my life to spend there, but I couldn't go back.
Yeah.
What about your generation of players? Because everyone's playing now is kids, and I think a lot of that motivation is to get a college scholarship, especially now that the scholarship limits have been blown open. Do you think kids are more playing because they love it for the college scholarship to play pro?
I feel like it really just varies, like, case to case, because I feel like the kids who, like, play it just for, like, a scholarship, it doesn't always, like, pan out.
Yeah.
I feel like they end up, like, getting burnt out, all the other things. But I think the ones that can, like, really just take it the furthest is the ones that just love it. Like,
yeah. The science would back that up. Intrinsic motivation.
Yeah.
It'll beat extrinsic every time.
Yeah.
What do you love about it?
Gotta say the people.
Yeah.
Just the community built around it is great. Like, all my best friends are on this team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are you closest with? Who's your crew?
Good old Kara.
Kara
my roommate.
Sasick.
Yeah,
You roomed together all 3 years?
yeah, it's kind of bad. We have like a combined brain now.
It's awesome.
It's kind of bad though. We don't have like a.
Did you know each other
thought.
before you came here?
Not really.
Okay.
Like, it was like we both knew we were committed. Like,
Yeah.
it was like a hey, how are you? Like,
Right.
just that kind of relationship. It wasn't
Yeah.
like a tight.
Yeah.
Just where we're at now.
Now you're boys.
Now we're. Yeah.
What what draws you to a person like Kara? Because I think she's kind of one of the best leaders by example that we have on the team.
Kara excels in all aspects of life, which is just like, just raises just her life. Like,
Yeah.
she puts in like the effort like everywhere. Like, she is not lacking in one aspect. Like, it's really impressive.
Yeah.
So that just like really just like elevates me, I feel like. And then also she's just like, I enjoy her as a person, so that's great.
She's a fun person to be around. It's pretty rare that I get beat to the coffee and reading station before breakfast opens, and Kara beat me 2 days in a row.
Wow.
In Tavares. I come down, I was like,
Yeah.
Kara,
Yeah.
you're taking my spot.
I know.
I'm supposed to be the one reading solo before everyone's awake, and she cooked me twice.
Yeah. I was rooming with her for that tournament. We have never roomed together for a tournament. And every single day I'd hear her waking up at like 6 a.m. I'm like, dang it, Kara. Like, kind of making me feel bad.
Did she set an alarm, or was that like a natural wake up?
I think she set her Whoop alarm. So.
That's a thing?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Whoop has alarms. So they're
How
like,
does
it like
that work?
buzzes you.
No way.
Yeah, it's kind of awesome because like,
Oh, that's sick.
if you're rooming with someone,
Right.
they can't hear it.
Huh.
So it's not like a Apple alarm. With,
Does
like,
Whoop ever not listen? If you'll set an alarm, it's like, no, you need more sleep than that. I'm not waking you up.
You can like set it so it'll like wake you up when you're like get to a certain like sleep percentage.
Got it. So you're not gonna or it won't wake you up out of a deep sleep or whatever. Maybe.
I don't know.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
I used to wear Whoop. I wore it for like 3 years, loved it, and then I passed a ball and it just snapped. It had gotten worn down. And I haven't gone back. The technology's changed since then. I didn't have that option.
Yeah, you gotta like slap at it like 20 times to like get it to turn off, but like it wakes you up.
Yeah. It'll get you out of bed.
Yeah.
That's the job.
Yeah.
What have you learned wearing that? I learned a lot.
I think the biggest thing for me would be like just sleep, like
Yeah.
how it impacts everything, because just changing like your sleep and wake time just like really just affects your recovery, and that's just like crazy to me, because it's like if I'm getting, because like before I thought like, oh, if I'm getting like the same number of hours of sleep, it's fine, like
Right.
who cares what time I'm going to bed or whatever, like, but
Yeah.
it matters.
It matters a lot.
Yeah.
That was astonishing to me.
Yeah.
Do you do the little Whoop journal too?
Not really.
Okay. Because I found a lot more useful information from that. Like what were the variables for when I recovered well versus when I didn't?
Yeah, I just looked at like my year in review from Whoop or whatever yesterday, and that was one of the things like it has on there. It was like when, like I think one of the things I logged like the most was like massage therapy, and like that for me, like I don't think that has a big impact on me. But then like looking at it, like the journal thing, it said like plus 5% recovery.
Right.
Like that's insane.
Like you throw enough data in there, and then correlation, eventually you can kind of determine it to be causation. And for me it was magnesium, blue light blockers, and cold exposure were my three biggest for recovery. And then the three biggest dingers for poor recovery were eating a lot of added sugar. So treats, chocolate is my vice. Anytime alcohol is involved, I mean, just straight down. Those two, and then just anytime I went to bed late, crushed me.
Yeah, I need to start logging my ice baths, because I haven't started doing that.
I recommend. I'd be
Yeah.
interested to see how that would turn out in the Whoop journal, because for me that was huge. And you guys, how cold does that ice bath get up there at more?
Honestly, I'm not really sure.
How often do you go?
Normally I do like once a week, but then once it gets cold outside, that
It's
really
hard.
that really lowers my motivation
What would
to
be
do it.
cool is if they added a sauna
Yeah.
to more, because then you guys could ice bath and then you could sauna, and then like going outside doesn't feel that bad.
Yeah, because there's like the hot tub right next to it, but like going in it afterwards just like feels wrong.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm like just cheating. But it's like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what I'm curious, you were in Florida, like kind of when you had to make the decision of where you were going to school.
Mm-hmm.
I think the facilities we have here are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like in the best way. What was your deciding factors to come here?
That was a really interesting time for me because like I remember on my call with Brooke, she was like, "So where are you living?" I was like, Florida,
Yeah.
because that was the whole time. But I think, well, at the time it wasn't Nick, it was Jason who was the assistant.
Okay.
So, that
Am
was
I your third assistant? Jason, Brooke,
Elena.
Elena, and
Yeah.
me?
Well, I never actually had Jason.
Okay.
He was just like on like Zoom calls.
He was on the calls and everything.
Yeah.
Got it.
But I think I kind of just really wanted to be closer to home.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want to go to California. I feel like I made this
Hell yeah.
known.
We need more people like you. Spread the word.
Yeah. Like, I would much rather have a 5-hour car ride than a 5-hour flight to go home.
Agreed.
Like, and like Florida State, best on the East Coast. Like, that was my main motivation. Like,
Yeah.
there isn't really any other competition.
How has playing in college either met, exceeded, fell short of expectation? Like, how has it differed from what you expected it to be coming into a Division I program?
I feel like just the level of play was just like now, like growing up, I like thought that like the level of play was just so high, and like my first practice here, I was so nervous, like I was terrified, and then like just like from there to now, I just feel like that's like crazy because like now I feel like the level's just like I feel like it's still like super high, but I feel like it's just not. There's still so much to go.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, when you came in, I mean, you were also coming in during like the COVID time warp.
Yeah.
And I mean, you had like 26-year-olds
Yeah.
in school, which is cool that that's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that USC team with Julia, Tina, Haley, I mean, who else is there? Sammy, Slater.
That team was
when they
insane.
were all like 24, 25 years old.
Yeah.
It's like,
Cause
this is not, like Tina got fourth at the Olympics and they came back.
yeah, because even like FSU had a stacked team.
Yeah.
Like, that team was incredible.
Right.
Like, looking back at all those people, I'm like, how did we not win? But then looking at USC's lineup, I'm like, that's also insane. Like,
yeah. So there's been like a mini
insane.
talent recession since then.
Yeah.
It had to have been.
Yeah.
Because that COVID year was wild.
Yeah. Because even all the people that graduated last year, there was a ton of great people.
Yeah.
Like, not just from FSU, just around the country. Like, a ton.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at it. I mean, I've traveled with Megan Kraft and watched her win a silver medal in Stade and watched her win a silver medal in Rio and watched her win a bronze medal in Joao Pessoa and watched her win a silver medal at World Tour Finals. I'm like, Meg, I love you. And I'm so glad I don't have to see you at all during the spring.
Yeah. Last year, like when she was doing all her traveling in the fall, I was like, no way she'll play in the spring.
Right.
Comes back in the spring. I'm like, dang it. Same with like Tanya and Daniela. I'm like, no way they'll come back. Yeah, they come back. I'm like,
saw them and they did their little forks up.
Yeah.
Or whatever they do at TCU. Yeah, Danny, Tanya, you can leave.
Yep,
it's all right.
Please.
But it's cool. It's cool that you guys have the opportunity to play against talents like that, though.
Mm-hmm.
And as we saw in Huntsville, they're beatable.
Yeah.
Sally and Maggie. Sally Perez and Maggie Boyd at UCLA. Names you guys should keep an eye on. They delivered. Holy cow.
Yeah. It's insane. Like, Maggie, she's insane.
Really good. Her serve was nuts. She served them off the court.
That serve came out of nowhere. Like, when we were in juniors, she had, like, an okay float serve. And then one year, when we were in juniors, she pulled out that topspin, and I'm like...
Boom!
I have never beat her. And, like, that... And as soon as she added that serve, I was like, gosh dang it, Maggie.
Game changer.
Like, that was... Oh.
Your serve's coming along.
It's getting there.
It's not the Maggie, I'm going to knock you over with this jump serve, but your placement in Huntsville. I watched you get like 7 aces in a match. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was kind of fun.
It was fun for me to watch.
Yeah, because I feel like in juniors, I never really understood like the importance of a serve. Like, I feel like in juniors, for me, it was just like just get your serve over. Like,
right.
My mom would always be like, oh, you missed 3 serves that game. I'm like, thanks, Mom. But like now it's just like, I understand like where to serve, what to run when you serve there. Like, it's like that part of the game is like still insane to me. Like, there's so much to learn about that.
Well, I mean, that's everything. When you get to the top level, I think that's the whole game.
Like, playing with Maddie last year, when we were in Gulf Shores, she'd be like, serve here, run this. I'm like, yes, ma'am. We did it. Point.
And
I'm
it
like,
works.
Thanks, Maddie.
Yeah. I think that's one of the most fun. For me, as a strategist, that's my favorite thing. If you serve here, this is what you're forcing them to do. But then on the offensive end, it's like, all right, they're serving me here. They want me here. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And then it's just this whole give and take. Basically, who can make the other one do what they want more. Yeah. I think the higher you go, I think the serve battle is, I think, the biggest game changer. Except if you're like a Sweden who doesn't even need to serve tough. Anders and Christian used to not serve tough, but now Anders has a crazy jump serve too. Mm-hmm. But I think at this level, I think that's one of the biggest differentiators is service pressure of who can consistently win matches from like quarterfinals on NCAAs.
Yeah.
Your serve coming along. It's fun to see.
It's getting there. Freshman year I tried pulling out the topspin, but it wasn't my strong suit.
Yeah.
My topspin was more of like a place topspin rather than like a speed.
Yeah. Which there's a place for that.
Yeah, for sure. But I think my float serve is better off.
It's getting there. Yeah. It's been fun to watch. It's been fun to watch a lot of you guys. Like I feel like the serving kind of clicked. Mm-hmm. The tempo offense for a lot of people kind of clicked. It's been fun to watch those little light bulb moments. I'm like, sweet, they're bought in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, this spring will be your third. Mm-hmm. Have you started all 3 years? Mm-hmm. Sweet. Ready to go?
Yeah. How
do you feel coming into this spring as you have in previous? As an individual, team, whatever.
I feel like every year I just like never know what to expect.
Yeah. Which
is exciting because like if you don't have any expectations, you can't be let down.
Right.
That's my motto. So
that's straight out of Dodgeball. You ever seen that movie?
No.
Oh, I'll send you the quote. Peter LaFleur. I don't set expectations. That's why I'm never disappointed.
Yeah. That's but I feel like this spring will be fun. I feel like it'll be a great learning experience for everyone.
Yeah. I feel like it'll be fun to see the youngsters because I think their improvement's gonna get pretty quick.
Yeah. I feel like even for like a lot of them since like the beginning of fall till the end of it, like huge improvements.
Huge. I mean, I look at Kenzie. Her jump from where she is now, where she started to where she is now, I was like, you're a totally different player.
Yeah. Even
awesome.
Her jump from seeing her last year to now, it's insane.
Yeah.
Like last year, like I feel like I never really got to play against her or like practice with her. And like when I did, like it was like, oh, like, okay. But now it's like, oh, I have to play against Kenzie.
Right.
Like, she's insane.
Yeah.
It's so impressive.
Yeah, and she does all the right things. Mm-hmm. Every early morning practice. No, you had class, which was a bummer. But she was there every time. Just like rep. And then practice, like, man, Kenzie's winning a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard. Whoever's playing with Kenzie, it's hard to lose with her.
Yeah.
It's a good quality.
She's just a little silent grinder. She
is. We have a couple of those. You're kind of
Yeah.
a silent grinder. Kenzie's kind of a silent grinder. Kara on the quieter end. In terms of being vocal at practice anyway. On the quieter end. Mariah.
Yeah.
Talk about silent grinder, quiet killer.
Yeah.
That's Mariah Massey right there.
Yeah. I've known Mariah for like 4 years now, maybe.
Okay.
And she is just now finally starting to like actually talk to me.
It's so fun when
I'm so happy.
Yeah. She got that sweet little smile.
Her and Kenzie both. I practiced with Kenzie on last Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And like we both got there like 20 minutes early and we were like chatting and I was like, this is like awesome. Like I never this is so, I was so happy because like we're both kind of like quieter and like we were chatting. It was amazing. So happy.
Yeah. No, it's fun to see them coming out of their shells a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Alexis Durish, do you have anything else you want to bring up? Anything we missed that you want to chat about?
I have no idea. I don't know.
I enjoyed it. How'd you do?
It was great.
Were you nervous at all?
Yeah. First podcast. First.
Yeah. FSU studio debut. Had to bring out the big gun.
A lot of pressure.
I think you were great. Didn't seem nervous at all. Did I make you nervous as a host?
No.
Sweet.
You
settled in.
Great.
Awesome. Well, I don't know. Do you listen to the show at all?
I haven't, not your most avid listener, but I have listened to
a couple. So do you know how we send off?
No.
So instead of saying bye in Pidgin, you say shoots. Shoots is like peace, later. All right. Shoots. There it is. Thank you.